rev up your engines. Today I'm going to talk about why it isn't such a good idea for people who aren't mechanics to try to use one of these AC recharge kits on their car. Because if not done correctly, you try one of these kits, you can actually cause a lot more damage to the system than you will helping it try to make it blow cold again. Now in the old days, when cars had what was named Freon, but it's actually just a trade name. Technically it's called R12 refrigerant. It was perfectly fine using a can to refill them then. They were a different type of system. As an example, when they were low, the receiver dryer had a little window on the top of it, clear glass. And when the system that had Freon R12 in it, if it was low, you would see a bunch of foam, like waves on the beach inside. And all you had to do was hook up one of these cans and add it in until the foam went away. So then you knew it was filled correctly to the right amount, and you could turn the valve off and have cold air. But heck, even my 94 Celica, it doesn't have that system. It uses the newer 134A refrigerant where you can't look at any sight glass. You have to use gauges and a scale to do it correctly to have the right amount of refrigerant. And back in the day, R12 refrigerant, some systems had over 3 pounds of refrigerant, so they had a lot of leeway if you had not enough or a little bit too much in it. But modern systems use the 134A and they use a lot less refrigerant in them. Everything is metric these days, and a lot of them, they only use like 450 grams, that's it. So if you're off, not only won't it work right, but it can actually do damage to your system. Using one of these cans, you have no idea how much you're putting into the system if you're just adding it. You just know that in this case, it says it's got 16 ounces. So you're putting in 16 ounces, but hey, how do you know how much it's low? Well, you don't. You're just guessing. And yeah, this has a gauge on it, but it's only the low side gauge. And the important gauge is the high side gauge. If the high side of the system gets too high, boom, things can blow up. Yeah, you can read the low side on these. I mean, the really cheap ones don't have any gauge at all, and you have no idea. Here, at least you get an idea what the low side pressure is. But still, you don't know what the high side is. And that's the important one. That's the high pressure. You get too high pressure, things can blow up. And then there's the problem of getting moisture in the system. They can't handle much moisture. Our air's atmosphere is full of water vapor. So even this little hose here, when you snap this on, it just snaps on. It's easy to put on. You got this much air in the system. You're actually adding some moisture into the system. You don't want to do that. Plus, if your system is completely empty, that means it's open to the atmosphere somewhere where there's a leak, and the system could be already full of water vapor from air getting inside there, especially in a humid place like Houston. So if you just put refrigerant on top of all that moist air that's in there, that's a recipe for disaster where down the line I've seen people do it. Corrosion occurs, the compressor locks up. You can create a lot of problems just adding stuff in willy-nilly with guesswork. Now, yeah, these things are easy to hook up. You just take off the low side, this snaps right on, then you turn the gauge on to open it up. But, as I said, it's so important in a modern car to have the right amount of refrigerant. One, even if you put all this in, this is 16 ounces. Let's say it was totally empty. You put in 16 ounces. Very few systems take exactly 16 ounces. How are you going to measure the rest? In the case of the Subaru, it says it takes between 20 and 23 ounces. So even with 2 of these cans, you'd never be able to guess it correctly. And yes, if you're off even an ounce in a modern car, it might not work right. Plus, like I said, you're going to inject some humid air with this hose here. It's something that I don't advise people to do. Now, this particular Subaru just came over here. The system's been completely empty for months. Here's how you have to do it correctly if you want to make sure it doesn't have a problem. You hook up a set of AC gauge, one to the low side, one to the high side. You put the low side blue on the low side, open it up. Now you can see here it's got 0 pressure, so we know the system's empty. Now by law in the United States, if you have refrigerant in it, you're not allowed to vent it to the atmosphere. You have to have a recycling machine to recycle the stuff. I have one, but I don't need to hook it up now because this doesn't have anything in it. Then you go to the high side part and put the gauge on there. That way you'll know if there's a serious problem in the system and you see the high pressure starting to go way up, 300 something PSI, you stop the process of adding refrigerant and then try to figure out why the pressure's building up. You just don't start adding and hope. You want to be logical about this and do it scientifically. Now, as I said, there might be air in the system, so you take the yellow line, that's the feed line, and you stick it on a vacuum pump, then turn it on. As it goes into a vacuum, and here it's near minus 30 pounds, that will create a vacuum in the system, and once the vacuum is created, it sucks everything out, including water vapor. When under high vacuum pressure, water will actually start to boil, turn into a vapor, and the pump sucks it out. So you want to leave this pump on for, say, 45 minutes or so to suck everything out. Now, the only way to fill it correctly is to get a reverse scale. This measures how much refrigerant is in. As it goes in, the scale shows how much weight is taken out. 0.55 to 0.65 kilogram. I always put the maximum 0.65 kilogram in. And I do use kilograms. You're really going to get an accurate reading, and it'll be filled right. Open it up, and it's starting to fill the system. As you can see down here, it's filling up, and we want 0.65 kilograms, because that's what it says right here is the max. Then we start up the car, turn the AC on full blast, and then when this says 0.65, we're done. Do it with the tank pointed up. You want to do it with vapor. If you turn it upside down, you get liquid. It charges faster, but that liquid can destroy stuff. Always use the gas. It's a safer way to fill it up. Yeah, it's going to take more time, but really, it doesn't take all that much more time. Then when it gets to 0.65, we shut the valve off. And there it goes. And here we go. Nice cold air. Now, how long will it last? Well, who knows? The Subaru is 16 years old. The original owner, she's never added refrigerant. So heck, if you gotta add it once every 16 years, that's not too bad. Only time will tell like that. But at least we know now it was done right. So now you know why I don't advise people to use those self-refilled AC kits. But this is Mechanics Monday, and I'm going to give something away, but I'm not going to give those away. Instead, I'm going to give away an AC vacuum pump. To have a chance to win, place a clean, non-offensive comment on the YouTube comments below, and a winner will be chosen randomly by computer to get a nice vacuum pump so they can fix their AC the right way. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.